Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about how to create regression lines within Desmos. But first I want to start back in our table here, our data table, and give you guys a shortcut because I notice a lot of students are plugging things in their calculators over and over and over. And within Google Docs or Excel there are different ways to set up equations. That's pretty easy and it'll save you a lot of time. So in this case we're looking for our speed and we already have our time identified. So we know that speed is found by doing distance divided by time. And the distance in the case of our solar cart project is just 3 meters. So basically we're going to do 3 meters divided by our time. So within this cell, in order to do an equation, you're going to type in equals. So this cell is going to equal our distance of 3 divided by this time. And notice it selects that cell. So we already have our distance divided by time, and hit enter, and it calculates automatically for us. And rather than going to this cell and typing distance divided by time again, I mean, you can do that over and over, but there's an easier way. If you go back to where you originally have your equation, and notice this blue box in the bottom right, if you just click and hold and drag it down, it's going to create corresponding equations all the way through. So now you can see that these two cells, they do match up and give you the correct information here, and it's a whole lot easier than taking 3 divided by 2.4, 3 divided by 2.97, 3 divided by 3.12, 3 divided by 3.03. You can see how that's going to take you a long time. If you just click and drag, you can get your values really quickly. So just a shortcut. That'll help you out. So whatever, we'll throw this back in here and back to our regression conversation. If you highlight your two columns there, we've got our X and our Y values. Hop over to Desmos and Control V for paste. You notice you have your points plotted here. So I'll just zoom in a little bit. That'll work pretty well. You can probably hear the neighbors. So regression line, what we want to do is look at the type of relationship between our two variables, and in this case it looks generally linear. It's pretty hard to tell. I wish we would have more data points in here, but we're going to create a linear regression line. So instead of typing in y equals mx plus b, we want to tie it to these data points. So we can type in y1 instead of just y, so it does correspond to these values. Rather than the equal symbol, we need to approximate. So if you hit shift and then the button above tab on the left side is known as the tilde symbol. So we're shooting for y equals mx plus b, but we want to approximate. So y1 tilde mx, we want it to match this column, so we want to type it in as x1 plus b, and this is our regression line. So you can see it's correlating between all of our different data points that we have. If you look closely here, we can type our regression equation, and this is just fine for our purposes. This is what you'll actually want to use, because you can click and drag and look at all different type of irradiance speed data based on the points that we input here. So this is sufficient. If you're curious, there's no reason you can't type in y equals, you can see our m value right here. Just copy and paste there, Control C and then Control V. Mx plus our b value, and you can see, oops, this one did not come out to be the same. I must not have copied. So take this, and you can see these two lines do overlap each other. So it doesn't matter which one you use. Typically, it's better just to stick with the regression line, but it won't really matter at all. So that's how you're going to create your regression line, your linear regression line within Desmos.